Hello everybody and welcome to our first ever Foodie Friday video. So I know we do a lot of fitness things on this channel, but I don't want you to think that all the food we're going to be doing is healthy. We will be doing healthy recipes here and there, but I'm a girl who loves a cheat day and loves good food and loves cooking and making good food. So today we are going to be playing around with a tried and true recipe of mine. It is going to get tweaked a little bit to be a little bit healthier than what I would normally do. But sometimes we'll do, exploring different food options. Sometimes we'll do new recipes that I've never done before. And sometimes we're going to stick with things like today and do something that's tried and true. So without any further ado, let's get right into Foodie Fridays. Alright guys, so today my tried and true recipe that we're going to be doing is a fried rice. I guess you can say I do a Vietnamese style fried rice. I do have Vietnamese family, and of course being raised in Vietnamese culture, I learned of course to cook some of their traditional dishes. I apologize if I don't cook it the same way that they do. I have kind of added my own tweaks to it over the years. I use a little bit more Americanized ingredients. But this is how I make my shrimp fried rice. Unfortunately, I do not do a lot of measuring with my tried and true recipes. These are things I've been making since I was a lot younger, so I will do my best to kind of describe how much I'm using of each item, and I will definitely list everything in the description below as far as the ingredients that I'm actually using. But you're just gonna have to kind of eyeball it, taste test it, all that good stuff. And if you guys make this recipe, please post down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, how to come out, and if you have any ideas for any other videos, you want to see me do any new recipes, want to see anything that you think I can cook well, feel free to put it in the comments as well. I love ideas for my new videos. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into my shrimp fried rice recipe. So the first thing that you want to do is steam some white rice, and you can use other rice if you like. I use white rice. But when you steam your rice, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is once it's done cooking, to let it sit for 20 to 30 minutes. That's really going to let it dry out enough to where when you fry it in the oil, it's going to take very well and come out really just, get that nice fried rice texture. So I've already steamed my fried rice. If you're using a pot, because a lot of people don't have a steamer, super easy, just use a non-stick pot, and you're going to put 1 part rice to 2 parts water. So if you use a cup of rice, it'd be 2 cups of water. 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water. So you're going to put those together. Well, first you'll boil the water, you put the rice into the water, and then bring it down to low, cover it, simmer it for about 20 minutes, and then let it sit for 20 to 30 minutes to kind of absorb all the moisture, and that's how you're going to cook your rice. So what you're going to want to go ahead and do from there, once your rice is cooking, is you're going to want to go ahead and peel and clean your shrimp. So I am working with about 3/4 of a pound of white shrimp for this particular recipe. I am making a lot. There is going to be a couple of people eating with me, and I always like to have a little bit of leftovers. So I go a little bit excessive in my portions, but we're going to be working with 3/4 of a pound of white shrimp. So basically what I do is I will go to the Asian supermarket up the street. They have a fresh fish market there, and I will go ahead and buy fresh shrimp. And what you do with these is you'll basically take where the legs are, at least this is how I do it. I will peel up a bit on the shell. And what that does is kind of loosen it at the top, and then from there I will just kind of pull down on the tail portion, and the shell will just come right off. Make sure I rinse off any of the excess parts, and then from there you do need to take a knife and go right down the top back of the shrimp. So just cut straight down the middle, all the way down, and the first thing you're going to see as soon as you do that is this like black, disgusting mess. That is basically fecal matter from the shrimp, so make sure you clean that out. Rinse the inside of the shrimp out very well, toss it in a bowl, and just continue on to the next one. So that being said, you can buy pre-cut, pre-cleaned shrimp. I happen to just like them fresh. They also do have, cooked shrimp that you can purchase. There's just something that's so much better about buying and cooking fresh shrimp in your fried rice. I mean, I guarantee you will taste the difference. Alright guys, so after I've cleaned and peeled my shrimp, I have my rice over there cooking. The next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and take my yellow onion. I'm going to cut up about half of this to cook with the shrimp. A little trick for if you don't like crying when you're cutting your onion is to stick your onion in the freezer for a couple minutes before you cut it, and that'll usually do the trick in helping you to not cry while cutting your onion. So I'm going to go ahead and dice this up finely, and I'm only going to use about half of it to go ahead and fry with my shrimp. Alright guys, so once I'm done cutting up my onion, I'll just throw it in the pan that I'm going to use to go ahead and fry my shrimp. And I'm going to go ahead and cut up some green onions, and these I'll set to the side until later on in the recipe. But I just want to get all my vegetables cut up right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get these cut. Alright guys, so usually in all my years of cooking this, when I go to make my shrimp and fry my shrimp up, I will generally do it with sesame oil. So this is kind of your go-to to cook both your rice and to cook the shrimp in. So this is what I've used for years. However, my brother is going to be joining us for dinner tonight, and he is hardcore against over-processed vegetable oils, which includes vegetable oil, canola oil, sesame oil, peanut oil, canola oils. So I'm very, very limited in what I can use for this, but I still want to make sure I'm getting that kind of authentic Asian flavor. So what I'm going to do as a substitute, I've never done this before, I will let you know how it works out. If you don't want to test anything new, just stick with sesame oil. But I'm going to go ahead and take that onion. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of butter, which I've already thrown in there. I'm going to substitute my sesame oil in my rice with olive oil and sesame paste is what this is called. But since I already have the butter in here, I'm not going to use olive oil. I kind of don't want to give too much of that flavor. I'm going to go ahead and take my sesame paste and just take a little bit of this and mix it in with my garlic and butter and fry it or saute it with my onions. So take a little less than a tablespoon of this. I'm going to dump it in with the onions. Set that to the side because I use a little bit more when I fry my rice. And I always want to take just a dash of rice vinegar. Again, it just gives it that flavor. Put that in there with the onions as well. I will take another tablespoon, and I will generally add about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And I know it's better fresh, but when you cook as much as I do, sometimes it's easier to just purchase it minced. So I'll take my 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, set that to the side. And at this point, we are going to get a little bit of noise because I'm going to go ahead and saute the butter, sesame paste, a little bit of the rice vinegar, and minced garlic all together until the onions caramelize. And caramelized onions just means that they're a little bit clearer to the, they look a little see-through almost. Alright guys, now that the onions are caramelized, it's smelling delicious. It is smelling a little more sesame-y than I'm used to, so I'm going to go ahead and probably not use the sesame paste in the rice itself. I think this is going to give it that nice flavor. But I'm going to go ahead and add my shrimp in now. So shrimp's going in now. Once I have the shrimp in, I want to go ahead and take a little bit of my favorite, Lowry's garlic salt. I'm going to just add a dash in there for seasoning for the shrimp. And then I'm also going to take some black pepper, and again to season my shrimp. And honestly, it only takes about 10 minutes or so for these to be cooked all the way through. And guys, feel free to use substitutes. If you don't eat meat, you can make this vegetarian. Don't add egg. If you want it to be vegan, you can use your own products. You can also make it with any meat of your choice, chicken, things of that nature. I am trying to ease up on my meat consumption, so I don't put a whole lot of shrimp. Again, this is going to be a lot for a lot of people, and I tried not to use that many shrimp. Now, right before it's done, the shrimp are done completely cooking. What I'm going to take at this point is I am taking the Springfield mixed vegetables. I like with the peas and carrots and corn. You can use any vegetables of your liking. I do tend to let these thaw just a little bit in the refrigerator so they're not completely frozen. I'm going to saute about 1.5 bags of these. Again, I'm using a little less than a pound, about 3/4 of a pound of shrimp. and take about 1.5 bags of the mixed vegetables. And I'm going to go ahead and saute that in with the shrimp so that it's ready to go directly into the rice in just a little bit. And again, guys, if you prefer, you can, go get fresh peas, fresh green beans, fresh carrots, fresh whatever you want to put in here. This is your creation. You're not going to a Chinese restaurant or an Asian restaurant. You are making whatever you want. So if you like it, throw it in there. For me, it's just easier to buy the frozen vegetables. It's already a lot of work making this, so I'm a little lazy and I like to get my frozen bag of vegetables to throw in there. Just makes it so much easier. Alright guys, now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and take 5 large eggs, and I always buy cage-free, vegetarian, vegan-fed eggs. I'm going to go ahead and take 5 eggs, crack them into a bowl. I will go ahead and mix in just a dash of milk. And milk just makes it fluffier. And again, if you have vegan options and you're into that, feel free to use those. I'm going to take a little bit of garlic salt and a little bit of pepper. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a small whisk and go ahead and just whisk all of this together. Alright, so once that's all whisked together nicely, what I'm going to go ahead and do is preheat a small pan on my stove. I'm going to pour this in. I'm going to cook it until it's just a nice cook through fluffy egg patty, and we will cut that up and be putting that into our rice. Alright guys, so once your egg patty is all cooked, you can throw it on a cutting board, plate, whatever you want. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Mine obviously isn't, and you're cutting it up anyways. So just make sure it's cooked all the way through. We're going to throw it on a cutting board and go ahead and dice this up into pieces to throw into the shrimp fried rice. Alright guys, so once that's all cut up, I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side for a little bit later. Alright guys, so we're getting down to the fun part. So as you can see here, I have a wok. If you don't have a wok, feel free to use a frying pan or whatever. Use a little bit of oil, some nonstick cooking spray if you want. Typically here I would use sesame oil, but as I said earlier, I'm going to be feeding my brother who refuses to eat sesame oil, so we are going to be doing this with olive oil. And I believe the sesame paste I used in the shrimp earlier should really make up for that flavor I'm going to be missing from the sesame oil. So I'm just going to basically kind of lightly coat the bottom of my wok with the oil. You don't want too much, okay? So this is a big wok. Coat the bottom of it with the oil, and I'm going to go ahead and let that heat up. So while I'm letting that heat up, I'm going to go ahead and take a cup, and I'm going to create the secret sauce to my shrimp fried rice. I only use the Choy soy sauce. This is my absolute favorite. I absolutely hate Kikkoman. I think it is way too bitter. I actually don't know anybody who really likes that brand. I apologize if you like it, but Le Choy is the best soy sauce on the market. I will take this and just dump a generous amount, and take your time, and like when you're adding it into your fried rice, just add a little at a time. Some people like more soy sauce, some people like less. But once I've got a little bit into a cup like so, probably just a teeny bit more, I'm gonna go ahead and take just a regular spoon, and I'm almost out of this brown sugar, but I'm gonna take about, I'd say about 2 spoonfuls of brown sugar, and I'm gonna just mix that into my soy sauce. Alright guys, so I'm gonna set that to the side, and now we are gonna get sizzling with the rice. So I'm gonna go grab the rice. Alright guys, so rice is all done and good to go. I'm gonna loosen it up and go ahead and get it into this oil so we can start frying. So you want to go ahead and break that rice up and get it all coated with oil. So get all of the rice coated, and as it coats, it'll kind of separate so that it's not as stuck together as it is when it's freshly steamed. So go ahead and fry this up for just a couple of minutes until it's all separated and nicely coated. So I usually go maybe like, I don't know, 1 to 2 minutes, maybe 3. Alright, once it's fried for a little bit, what we're going to go ahead and do is take that soy sauce mixture and just add a little bit at a time and kind of work it through the rice until you get the nice color that you like. Now once I've got that coloring right, now is the time where I'm going to go ahead and take my green onions and go ahead and mix them in. I like these to be fairly fresh in the rice. Alright, at this point I'm going to go ahead and take my shrimp and vegetable mixture and throw that all in there. And I'm going to go ahead and take my eggs and do the same thing. Alright, eggs and veggies are in. Now let's just mix it all up. It smells so good. I am so hungry. Guys, this is like one of my favorite all-time meals. I really hope you guys try to make this at home. Again, you don't need a wok. You can use a pan. You don't need to make near as much as I do. I'm feeding quite a few people with this. But if you guys could just smell it. Oh, I am so starving. I just worked out today. This is going to be such a great meal. Alright, I'm going to let that sit for a minute or two. I lowered the heat just a little bit, and I'm just going to let that sit and kind of cook. I'll come stir it a couple times, and then almost time to eat. Alright guys, I am back. So let's go ahead and turned it off. And I mean, this looks absolutely delicious. So, like I said, normally I would have used sesame oil in place of the olive oil / sesame paste. So I'm excited to give this a taste test. There you guys go. Shrimp fried rice, all done. And let's go ahead and see how it tastes with those replacements. I'll be honest with you, it tastes exactly the same. So I guess sesame paste with some olive oil will work. I'll be honest with you, if my brother's not eating it, I'm probably going to continue to just make it with sesame oil. I just don't care enough about the issues with it. But do your own research, find what works best for you. If you don't want to use all oil at all, the sesame paste definitely gives it the right flavor. So, Seriously, guys, try this recipe. It's so delicious. It's something I've been making for so many years. It's actually a food that my aunt used to make for me during Christmas time and the holidays when we would come down to San Diego to go visit. And this was something she cooked faithfully when I was younger. It was my favorite dish to eat. And the fact that she taught me how to make it, and it's something that I can make as an adult, is just huge. This has been such a staple in growing up. I mean, you could ask my brother, he would tell you. We grew up with this all the time, every holiday. So I'm glad that I was able to share it with you guys. I hope that you guys get a chance to make it, try it. Again, if you do, let me know how it goes in the comments below. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. And I will see you next time.